Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be reviewing and sharing my thoughts on the brand new Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Soft Radiance Foundation. I'm still calling this brand new, that way I don't feel so late to the party. I actually just picked this up a few hours ago from my local Nordstrom. It is going to be exclusive there for at least the next few months, and it is available now on the Tom Ford website. I wanted to wait and see it in person. I'm very glad that I did because I think you may struggle with this foundation if you're ordering blind online. It is available in 40 different shades, which is amazing. I'm so happy that they are expanding their shade range. I really like the Soleil Flawless Glow foundation, but I sort of would laugh with my coworkers because it was basically 50 shades of beige, a handful of darker shades, but most of the shades were on the lighter side of the spectrum. So now from what I could see, and I didn't swatch them all or anything like that, but it looked like there was a little bit more variety. I did go with a different shade. So in the Soleil Flawless Glow, I wear a 6 Natural. That is my Sunless Tanner shade. It's a summer foundation, it has SPF. It's a little bit more lightweight, so it makes sense that I would pick it up in a darker shade to match me when I've tanned. In this foundation, however, I picked up the 5.6 Ivory Beige. This was the best out of a complicated bunch. The 6 Natural was way too yellow gold, and then there were a couple other shades that I was between. This one seemed to have more of a neutral undertone, but it was a little bit tricky, and I was there with the Tom Ford rep, and we were both kind of looking and swatching, and it took us a minute before we could decide on the right one. So if you are interested in this foundation, and I'm assuming you are since you're watching this video, if you've waited this long, it is worth going to a counter if you can. Work with a representative to find a great color match. So this is the box. Pretty typical Tom Ford exterior packaging, but the actual bottle itself is beautiful. It reminds me of a jumbo Luxe lip gloss, but it's very beautiful. I love this gold and the pump. It is pristine. Absolutely gorgeous. And when I was swatching the shades on my hand, it felt so smooth and creamy and very satiny. So it made me very excited to come home and apply this foundation. First and foremost, let's set our expectations and talk about the claims for this foundation. So here's the 411. It retails for $150, so it's an elevated price point, even for Tom Ford. It's available in 40 different shades, medium to full coverage, SPF 50, radiant finish, infused with hyaluronic acid and a trio of natural oils. It comes in the Luxe glass bottle with the pump, which is way better than the dropper that comes with the Soleil Flawless Glow. I love that foundation, love the dropper, it actually works, but it is so thin and it's glass, so it is incredibly delicate. You have to pull it out and you have to put it in completely straight or else it'll break off. I've seen it happen a million times. So I love the pump. I've already raved about this beautiful bottle. I think they did an excellent job. $150 is pricey for a foundation, but not if it has skincare benefits. Sublimage is $135. La Prairie, Sisley foundations are in that sort of neighborhood of price points. So that's not something that I mind if it looks beautiful. I looked on both the Tom Ford website and Nordstrom.com, and I didn't see anything regarding the longevity of the makeup. I did read somewhere they called it smudge resistant, but that's not quite the same as a long wear foundation, and that's okay. I mean, this is more of your anti-aging skincare foundation. That's really what's going to justify the higher price point, not that it's going to last all day. Of course, I hope that it isn't going to be incredibly smudgy. The fact that it has hyaluronic acid and one of the 3 oils that's infused has anti-inflammatory benefits. On paper, this foundation sounds amazing. So right now, I'm going to rewind the clock a little bit, show you my first impressions of when I applied this foundation earlier today, and then I'm going to check back in, share some thoughts before I begin my wear test. It smells identical to the Soleil Flawless Glow and the Bobbi Brown Serum Foundation. They all have the same scent. My face is now complete. I cannot get over how radiant the finish is. It is very dewy. It feels dewy, which I like. I really love the look of it. It's making me a little bit nervous in this tropical climate that I am in. But you know, we will just see. I'm probably going to set my entire face with a little bit of light powder. It's just too hot and humid outside already here in Florida. Most people watching, you probably don't have to worry about that sort of thing. I love the coverage. I think the color I chose was spot on. I chose a different shade than the one that I typically get, so I was a little bit iffy whenever I left the store, but I feel comfortable with this shade. When I look up close and try to pick out every single pore, it looks very smooth, and I did not use a primer, just moisturizer, so I didn't do anything special or out of the ordinary to really set this foundation up for success. I just wanted to see what it would look like basically on bare skin, and it looks really beautiful. I'm impressed. Of course, you hope that a $150 foundation looks great when you first apply it. We'll see how it looks later on, but right now, I think it looks really, really pretty. And it's very soft and forgiving. Like, it's not settling into any lines or anything like that. So far so good. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my makeup. Now that my makeup is complete and I can see the big picture, I'm still really happy with this foundation. I love the way it looks, and I feel a little bit more confident about walking outside. We shall see. It has yet to happen. But I did do a little bit of light powder all over the face. I used my Tom Ford. I have the shade Ivory Fawn. So I just did a light dusting of this to help set it. I think if you are dry or if you have more mature skin, this foundation is going to sit beautifully. If you have maybe more normal combination, you may need to set with a little extra powder. Or if you live in a tropical climate like I do and it is incredibly humid outside, maybe a little extra powder, but it certainly feels a little bit nicer to the touch. It's not quite so oily like it was before. I don't mind. I know my skin needs hydration, so I want to put as many hydrating products on it as possible. But it's kind of the double-edged sword because I'll walk outside and then it'll start to melt. I'm going to do a couple check-ins today. I got a bit of a late start because I had to pick this up this morning. So it's around noon. I'm going to have lunch, run some errands, and I'm going to squeeze in 2 check-ins before the day is over. And I will keep you updated on my thoughts, but right now it's looking really good. Hey guys, I'm here with my first check-in. It's been about 5 hours since I first applied the foundation this morning. And I have just been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I'm about to leave to do my errands. So I've just been getting stuff done here at home. I've been in the air conditioning and I haven't noticed any major differences in the foundation. I will say that if it was going to be a crazy, hydrating, greasy mess, I would probably see some signs of that. I don't feel like I need to blot my face. I feel like it still looks very dewy and luminous, but it's not over the top. You know, I don't have concerns at this point. It still looks nice and smooth. My pores aren't showing. I'm not greasy, don't have any dry patches, no settling into fine lines that I can tell. I think it looks really nice. So far, I'm really loving this foundation. I'm going to show you a sneak peek of a little project I'm working on because yes, I have been completely procrastinating, putting off my errands, but I've been busy at work. I've been getting a sweat on. I have this floor mirror here and I adhered all of those little lights, which seems like it would be very simple. It's actually incredibly tricky, mainly because of the corners, but I think it looks pretty nice. I will show you the finished project, but I've been doing that. I've been doing all sorts of crazy stuff around here, and now I actually am going to head out the door. So maybe I'll check in with you guys in another 3 to 4 hours. By that time, I'll need to wash my face. This is check-in number 2. It's been 9 hours since I first applied the foundation. I went out, I did my errands, I walked Jazzy again, did some more stuff around the house. I prepped dinner. It's actually cooking right now, so I want to shower and wash my face so that I can eat dinner with a clean body, clean face, feel so refreshed. The foundation has held up so well, far better than expected. When I heard radiant finish, full coverage, I thought, oh, this is going to be really beautiful, but for me, it might be too greasy, too oily by the end of the day. And I don't think it is. I mean, I can definitely tell that there's shine on my face. I have a couple lights on in this room, but whenever I was out in more natural lighting, I kind of thought it looked sort of, not matte, but sort of like a natural skin finish. More matte than I expected. So I am overly impressed with the finish of the foundation, how it lasts. I do have some smudge marks on my chin where I guess I probably scratched my chin. You know, that's gonna happen with any foundation. It's not meant to be permanent and sit on your face and just stick there like paint. So that's okay that I can see the little areas where I've touched and rubbed. It's bound to happen. I still feel like my cheek looks really smooth. This area in particular I think looks really nice. Around the eyes I have a little creasing where my fine lines are. That always happens. Other than that, I'm just really happy with it. I mean, I don't really have anything horrible to say about this foundation. I'm excited to try it again tomorrow. I'm back, round 2. I've had this foundation on now for a few hours. This is my new favorite Tom Ford foundation. No questions asked. I love the coverage. I love the finish. I think it looks really beautiful and it lasts really nicely. That's all I can really ask for. That is my main criteria. The fact that it has treatment, SPF 50, hyaluronic acid, the anti-inflammatory oils and all of that. The beautiful bottle even. This is just frosting on top of the cake. None of that stuff really matters if the foundation doesn't look good. So let's break this down for a moment. I know everyone wants to know, is this foundation really worth $150? When I picked it up yesterday, I had a Nordstrom note. I made a couple returns and I think I paid maybe a total of $80 towards the total purchase price, which made it a lot easier to swallow. Are there cheaper alternatives? Yes, of course. This is makeup, that is always the case. And if you are a luxury consumer connoisseur, you kind of understand there's an elevated price point. I do think there are some cheaper alternatives that you wouldn't have to sacrifice that much. For example, I think the Guerlain L'Essential foundation, this has a medium buildable coverage, radiant finish. It also has some botanicals. I think there are antioxidants and some skincare benefits in there. It has SPF 20, so it's not quite the same formula, but it still comes in a beautiful bottle, and I think you could be very happy with this if you didn't want to shell out $150. If you're choosing between the new Tom Ford, La Mer, Sublimage, that's a conversation we can have. So between the La Mer, I love my La Mer foundation. It also has treatment. I think the Tom Ford has a bit better coverage. I also prefer the finish because it is almost a soft luminosity. I just think the Tom Ford looks better overall. And if I'm comparing it with Sublimage, these are actually very similar in terms of the foundation itself. This has medium to full coverage. It also has that kind of radiant finish. I think these two are so comparable. The Sublimage retails for $135. It does come with a little foundation brush. I prefer a pump. I prefer a pump versus a jar every day of the week. I will pay more for convenience, especially when it comes to foundation. I want my makeup routine to be as easy and uncomplicated as possible. Not that a jar makes this complicated. It is certainly beautiful and luxurious, but it's not fast and efficient. I think you still get that look of luxury, but it has the pump, which is just going to make it easier to apply. I don't even grab my Sublimage foundation as much as I should or would like to because it's in a jar. If I'm judging this foundation purely on its performance, standing alone, I really like it because it is a beautiful foundation. The price, everything else, that's really going to be a personal choice. It's up to you to decide, but I can feel really confident recommending this foundation. I do also suggest trying a sample if possible. That's a great way to not waste any money. If you don't live near Nordstrom, maybe contact the closest one to you. Sweet talk somebody over the phone. Maybe they'll send you a couple samples for you to try, but I would try to narrow down between 2, maybe 3 shades online if you can. That way you can give that person some direction. So that would be a good option. It would be very difficult to blind order online directly from the Tom Ford website, in my opinion. Who knows, maybe it'll be easier for you. But try a sample, go get a shade match. Have somebody sit you down in the chair. That is going to be the only thing that might be a little bit tricky with this foundation. Once you find a great shade match, it is beautiful. Best suited for dry skin, mature skin, it's gonna be amazing. If you have normal skin, this will work for you. If you are oily, this is not going to be a great formula for you, but you probably know that because it has a radiant finish. So overall, I am completely satisfied with my purchase. And that completes today's review. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, your questions down below. I'm very curious to hear your thoughts if you've tried this foundation, if you're interested in it whatsoever. Drop me a comment. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking all of the products that I mentioned, everything that I used today on my face, down in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.